Hello, just wanted to record this training on how to use ChatGPT to write some custom JavaScript for you in our Webflow process, how to test the code, troubleshoot it, talk to ChatGPT. So I'm basically going to record what I'm doing and then comment along the way. So this can be just a bit of a training by watching, training by doing. The problem that we want to solve to start is we would love for the URL to have a change that is stored when a pop-up is opened. So ideally this would have some sort of unique identifier in the URL that represents a click on that specific collection item. So what I'm just starting by thoroughly thinking what I want it to do. So if I'm not sure what I want it to do, though, I can start by just asking a question. So I am using ChatGPT Plus. This is $20 a month, and I'm using this Grimior ChatGPT plugin, which is just meant for more specific like coding things. So I'm just going to type my question. So I'm just being very specific and clear about what I'm asking. In Webflow, when I click on a CMS item and a pop-up opens with Webflow interactions, I would like the URL to change when the pop-up is open. This way, if someone copies and sends this way, let's see, I want the URL to change to a unique identifier for that item only when the pop-up is open. This way, if that unique URL is visited, it will visit that page and open that item with a simulated click on that CMS item. So I'm thinking of just all the various variations and other things. When the pop-up closes, I want the URL to change to the root again. The original URL again. Okay, let's see what it says. Great. So it described what it's going to do with the JavaScript, and then it began writing the JavaScript for me. Okay. In this script, replace .cms item with the actual CMS item class and the close pop-up button with the appropriate class names from your Webflow project. So I'm going to open Sublime Text, which I just used to do edits to code like on my desktop just as a place to store it temporarily. It also, you can use it to do find and replace. So I'm going to paste this, and then under type, just so the code is more understandable, I'm going to go to view, syntax, JavaScript. There you go. Now it looks correct. I'm going to increase the text size a little bit here so we can read it, and then and I'm just using Command plus to do that. And then I want to go into my code and find the CMS item code. Oh, it logged out for some reason. Maybe you are in here working. Okay, so I'm gonna get the class item of the, or the class of the CMS item, which I believe is this one. Yes. Okay. So it's called .filtered cards underscore item. So I'm just copying the class name, and I'm gonna go back to Sublime Text, and I'm gonna say replace .cms item. So there's only 2 instances of that, but I'm gonna say replace it with this, and we just need to add the period for the class. I'm saying replace all. Great. And then the other one is the close button. So under the modal, a close button, that's where you have your interaction. Yes. Okay. Going to copy the class name, and we're gonna find and replace again. I'm clicking Option Command F to do that. Dot close pop-up button. I'm saying dot. Okay. Okay, so I changed all my class names. Now this is where we're going to start testing and troubleshooting. So I'm copying the code, and I'm going into the, we likely want this to be site-wide code. Like any page where, any variation of the pages where this code appears. So I'm going into the site-wide code, and then we just need to make sure we add script identifiers before and after. Okay, now let's just try it out and see what happens. So I'm publishing it, and then I'm going to refresh and clear my cache on the live page. So I'm clicking Option Command R to refresh the cache. URL is normal when I click. Okay, there is something happening. It says $null. Okay, and then when I close, it's still there. Okay, so let's try clicking a second one. Great. Okay, so we have information. It's not working, but we have information to talk back, and that it will try things and it will improve itself. So I'm just going to start telling it what's wrong. 2 issues. When the pop-up is opened, the URL adds #null to the URL, and for every CMS item. So there is not a unique URL for each one. Also, when clicking the close button, the URL does not revert to the original again. And I can also give it the class names that we're using so that I don't have to replace them anymore. So the CMS item class is, and the close button class is. Okay, and then I'm just copying these. And I'm going to say rewrite with these class names and always include script tags from now on. That way I can just copy and paste the whole block. Okay, and then I'm reading what it said. Each CMS item has the unique data ID attribute correctly in your HTML. So I didn't check that. So this is where we're going to start needing to use the inspector. So we can look at the code. So on the live site, does the form block? Okay, that's the wrong thing. Okay, here's the item. So closing it, and it looks like the items all have the same data-w-id. So that's not good because it has no way of identifying them uniquely. Okay. Okay, what else did it say? Okay, yes, checked that. Fix that. The pop-up opening and closing code is correctly integrated into what is that? Yes. I'm not sure if it's saying that it's interacting with the let's say, so I'm gonna have it do this. I'm gonna give it a couple elements of feedback. I'm gonna say the items are identified by the data WID attribute in HTML, but they don't have unique values. Can you label them based on their order? No, that won't work. Can you label them based on what are we going to use to label them if Webflow doesn't have unique code? We can say to label them what is unique about them already besides their order, because I can't do it by their order. I can't have it label them based on their order, because if the order shifts, the link won't go back to the correct item. So they do have unique titles already. Okay, so there's a couple options here. We could create a CMS field that uses the name of the item to label. Okay, let's see about what if we did, okay, on the item in the settings, can we create a custom attribute where the value is the name. Great. Okay, so we're gonna say data ID. Let's say name, CMS name. Great, so we're creating a custom attribute with the name, or let's say slug, to identify each individual item. Okay, so I'm going to publish this, and then now we're going to look at the fresh HTML and go back. Okay, so back on the live site, I'm going to refresh and clear the cache. Okay, and then I'm going to open the inspector again. And let's see here. Do we have anything unique now? Oh, you know what? I don't think I put it on the right thing. Let's see here. I put the custom attribute on the item. Nope, I didn't. Yep, see, that's what's wrong. Put it on something else. I put it on the type labels. Cool, okay. Now I'm on the correct item. I'm gonna say name, CMS, slug. And we're gonna say slug. Yeah, great. Publishing again. Okay, now in our HTML, we've created a custom CMS slug attribute that should have a unique name for every CMS item, and ChatGPT will write the JavaScript to use the value inside this attribute to identify which pop-up, which item to simulate a click on, and open that pop-up if it is in the URL. Okay, so let's say. So now we know what to tell it. Instead of, what was it using before? It was using, instead of referencing the data ID attribute as the identifier, use the CMS name attribute. Okay, and what was the other thing? Actually, I think we're just going to start with that. Okay. Let's see what happens now. You know, sometimes it'd be like that. So it is helpful to read the comments here that it writes so that you know what each part of the script is doing. It can be really helpful. Sometimes you'll need to like manually try to combine pieces of code together because it's kind of hard to tell it to do that sometimes when you're writing really long scripts. Okay. Yes, it does. I'm going to ask it what it means by this. What do you mean by Yes, those interactions are built using native Webflow interactions. Is that okay? Great. Okay, that's fine. It's telling me more than I need. All right, so let's copy this. Let's paste it. See if we get what we want here. Refreshing. Let's actually refresh without this. Refresh. Okay. Click. And nothing changed. See, sometimes there's a step backwards. Okay. So I'm just going to go back steps and restart the conversation here. The URL slug isn't changing when the CMS item is clicked now. Did it still? Yeah, it still has this. Okay, it's still using the correct. Okay, so this time it's adding debugging, so we're going to see what that is. While it's writing, I'm just going to inspect again here and make sure we do have, it's very easy to mess up oh, yep, see? It's real easy to mess up. Yep. Just small things. So I'm telling it to look at CMS name, but it's because it's CMS slug now. It's because I mistakenly told you the attribute is CMS name, but it is CMS slug. So technically I don't really need it to write this. I could just copy and paste this and then find and replace in a Sublime editor, but we'll just go for that. Okay. Okay, saving the new code, publishing. So that was human error. And we have no, okay, click. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Okay, and then, okay, I clicked out and it didn't go away. What about when I click a new one? Okay. Okay, so let's try one more thing. Let's see if I open a new window with this URL. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's just test it one more time. So it'd be cool. Private window. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Okay. That is great. So we just have one little thing to fix. We want, okay. The URL is set correctly on open now. Oh, I know why. But, so watch. it's because we have multiple things we can click to close the modal. Because when I click the background, it doesn't take it away, but when I click this, it will, because that's the, oh, no, it didn't. I thought it would because that's the actual close button, right? Yeah, that's the close button. Filter cards, modal, close button. Yep. Okay, so yeah, even clicking that on that isn't making the URL go away. Okay, but just to be clear, I need to make sure I tell it everything that can close it. So it's also this class can close it. Okay, so but clicking the close button doesn't remove the reset URL. Also, I want a click on class to reset the URL as well as the close button. All right, let's try again. Okay. And click. And it's there. And click. And it's still there. Okay, so since we're hitting a roadblock, I'm going to say still not working. Add debugging. And now we're going to test out what debugging is. So basically it's going to put some code in the script to log messages to the console in the inspector based on what parts of the code are working or not. And then whatever feedback we get or don't get from the console, we're going to paste back to ChatGPT, and it's going to tell us what is going wrong. Okay. Copy, paste, publish. Remove. Okay, so I'm gonna inspect and put this off to the right here. I don't remember how to, yeah, there you go. There you go, put it back in the window. Okay, so we have, this is the console right here, and we have no messages currently. I click. Oh, you know what? It's because there was a search filter on. See, you can see the messages starting to appear there. So those are coming because of the debugging logging. Now when I click on the background, okay, so you can see there's something that it does say URL reverted, but then it thinks, so it thinks that you can see here, it thinks that the item is being clicked again when I click on the background, because it is within the item itself, the modal, and so when I click the modal, it thinks I'm clicking the main item again. So I need to add some logic into the code to ignore that. So I'm going to say, because the modal is inside of the items div of each items div, clicking the close button and what's the other part? The background is misinterpreted as another click on the item. So, can you make sure that, what do I say? When the pop-up is open, let's just see what it says before I try to suggest how it does it. Let's see if it has a suggestion, because it might be better than mine. Great. Yep, so it's just going to tie, it's going to say ignore, don't do another item click when the thing being clicked is these specific divs inside the, yeah. I'm going to say, and to just be certain, I'm going to say, can you, I'm going to use this main class here. I'm going to say, can you make sure, can you also make sure anything within class clicked, so anything within the modal clicked doesn't count as another CMS item click. Also, you can remove debugging now. Okay, let's see here. Great, so it has, yeah, it's listening to both those specific elements and everything inside the modal component to make sure those are not counted as CMS item clicks. Sometimes it's better to just have it recommend the solution and not think of it yourself, because it's pretty smart. Okay. All right. Did I break something now? Oh, you know what? Shoot. Yeah. Okay. So what is going on here is that there is a conflict happening between the native Webflow interactions and the event listeners that the script added to make sure that those clicks were ignored for the CMS item click. So I'm going to tell it that. Now there's a conflict with the native CMS the native Webflow interactions on the. So I'm going to see if on the close button and background overlay, can you instead remove those specific event listeners, but keep the one on the main modal component? Anything within the modal component should not, anything clicked within the modal component should not count as a CMS item click. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Adding the code back. Okay, let's try this out. Refresh. No URL. Yes URL. Close is still not working. Dang it. Okay. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Instead of having it listen to clicks on the event, we're going to have it monitor the display property of the modal component, because that way it will just monitor what's happening and not like place a click listener, and that tends to not create the conflict. So let's say instead of having a listener on the component, let's see, there's still an interaction conflict. Instead of having a listener on the component, can you instead monitor its display property to determine if the modal is open? If it's anything other than none, the modal is open, and clicks on any CMS items should be ignored, meaning as in not change the URL until the modal is set to display none again. There are many divs with the modal class on the page, but they all should be monitored. Perfect. It's always good to read its description of what it's going to do. It usually understands you quite well. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, refreshing. Oh, whoops. Ah, shoot. Still not removing it. Okay, let's keep trying. Okay, the interaction is working again, but clicking on anything within the modal is still not setting the URL. Oh, we shouldn't need to do it. Let's just say, let's say when the I'm gonna say once all the modals are closed, I want the URL to be reset to the root. Again, no. Feeling good. I'm feeling like this might be the last one, but you know, it's always when you say that it doesn't work. But here's hoping. Come on, Lord. Okay. All right. Publishing. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? Oh, yeah, it's done. It's so done. Heck yeah. Okay, now let's try if I click one of these other filters. Let's say here, will it work within another filter? Yeah. Okay, what if I go to another page where, I guess that shouldn't matter. I was gonna say if I go to like this page. No, yeah, because, okay, yes. All right, folks, that's it. Well, after finding that solution, realized that we actually want to do something different. So what we want to do instead is we want to have the URL change to the URL for the individual item. So the CMS slug that the URL changes to should become /resources/ right? So I think it's actually a simple change because we're gonna want to say so, and the reason why we want to do that is so that if someone copies the URL while the pop-up is open, the URL it will actually be copying will be the link to the individual page, which we haven't built yet, but yeah. It will be this page we're going to build right here. Great. Okay, so, and then, yeah. let's just make sure this is working so we can have a test. Let's just do a quick test from the home page. I'm just gonna put one of these. Yeah, anyway, that's the right page. Okay, so we're gonna say instead of using the slug after can you make it be change the URL to /resources/slug. Great. Do 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 do. Okay. Let's see here. Doobie-doo. Paste. Publish. And refresh. Click. Oh yeah. So this URL it changes it to is technically not, it's not the pop-up URL. It is the URL to go to the individual page. So if I were to paste this, it won't work right now because we haven't set up the CMS page for individual items yet, but it will be the correct one. Awesome.